we are gonna go work that last cornfield and get it fit so it'll plant tomorrow. We have a slight chance of rain Saturday, but hopefully we miss that. But Saturday I would like to get this field fit today, get it planted tomorrow, and then Saturday fit my uncle's, plant that Sunday, and then we're done. Other than I have like a little 1 acre freaking food plot that I gotta go put in for a guy real quick that I would have had done by now if he hadn't told me about it late. And so it's not worked, it's not fit, it's not nothing. I'm not fertilizing it because it's not getting harvested. I'm gonna go fit or plow it, fit it, and drill beans in it, and whatever happens happens. So, but anyhow, I got to wrangle the dogs back up and take them back down to the house, and then we will get rolling. Couple spots out here that are a little tacky, but overall it should be fairly decent. It rained. What day is this? This is Thursday. So it rained like Tuesday night, Wednesday morning-ish. But we only ended up with about, well, I didn't even have a full 2/10 out of it. So some areas had 2/10 to a quarter, and some areas had quite a bit more, but we got lucky. So I can go today, otherwise it probably would have been tomorrow at a minimum if we'd got a whole lot more. is a county drain, open ditch in those woods right there. It just needs dredged out, and the tile that goes to it either needs redone or fixed. But at that point, you're relying on the county to hold up their end of the deal, and our county drainage commission is a joke. Which, that being said, the vast majority of our county commissioners are all jokes. Our county has a great bunch of guys that work for it, like plowing snow and stuff. We're one of the best counties in the area. Like, I'm not saying anything against the guys that actually work for the county. Our commissioners are just trash. There's only so much you can do when your boss is worthless. Pick up all the way. With all the tongue weight of that harrow, this thing doesn't like to pick up unless you're moving. Oh yeah, we'll fit. Oh yeah. Sweet. I got some sections all nice and balled up on the harrow. I hate round bar harrows. It's only always ever the front too. The back never does it. But I was able to get over, I don't know if I want to say more than what I thought I'd be able to, but I was able to get over a decent amount. I think some of this I should be able to pull the planter through. We'll just plant straight through it, disced up. I'm trying to figure out the best way to plant this. I think I'll put the end rows on that side, the end rows along the back, and the end rows over here, and then start on this side, start working this way. And then whenever I can't make it through this wet hole again, then I'll take a pass and go up that way and put end rows here maybe. Man, this wet spot is wet. But it's one of those, it never, even last year during the drought, it never dried out. That's a goofy sounding rooster. So, and it must originate up there in that woods somewhere, because it's wet right down through here and then all the way out to the road, and it flows towards the road. So, and there's actually a tile in there that's supposed to drain it, but again, county and drainage and not worth a damn. Probably wasn't the right thing to do, but again, June 6th. Still have corn left to plant. And don't forget, 80 years ago today, the Allied armies collectively rolled up to the Normandy beachheads and collectively made the German army shit itself. And just a handful of months later, the war in Europe was over. So, yeah, a little bit more than a handful of months, but not a full year. Ooh, I can hear water under there. Maybe I'm not gonna try to plant through here. I mean, I think the planter to handle it, you just slow way down and take it easy, but wow, I can, oh yeah, we're oof. I might have to rethink how I'm gonna plant this field, because we ain't getting through this spot. Ain't no way. I might be able to hang a wing over and get 4 rows in it, but I don't think we're driving through it. So I wonder, that being, man, there ain't gonna be no way to plant this goofy bastard. Because you'd like to run them, get your end rows on and then plant it east and west, so you don't got a bunch of short rows right here. But then you're gonna end up with a bunch of short rows back there. I'm gonna have to think on that. I don't know, maybe you're just still better off planting north and south and deal with the short rows here. And then that point there is going to be a little bit of a bastard, but we'll figure it out. So we just gotta hope and pray the 1950 T behaves herself and gets us through this last, it's not even going to be 14 acres with the wet spots I got to go around, but whatever we got left here, she's got to survive that long, which I think will be all right. Just got to take it easy on the old girl. So I guess we will, I'll get that off when I get home and get a place to throw it. I guess we will catch you guys tomorrow, hopefully finishing up planting corn. All right, we're gonna get corn finished up today one way or the other, as long as the tea cooperates with us. It burped out one quick little foam splash out of the overflow tube before I made it to the end of my road, turned down and come this way, and then it dried up. There's no water in the oil pan, none. It's been sitting since Monday afternoon, so basically figure 4 days of sitting. If there was water in it, you'd think it would have settled out to the bottom by now. I cracked the drain plug, there was no water in the oil pan. Started it up, there was no water in the exhaust. You'd think if there was coolant sitting on top of a piston, it would have spattered some out and got you wet or spackled the hood or something. No coolant in the exhaust. It's not white smoking. I don't know. If it is a head gasket, it's the weirdest head gasket failure I've ever seen, because I have yet to see a head gasket failure that doesn't end up with coolant either in the piston or in the oil pan. And usually if it's getting in the piston, if it sits long enough, it goes past the rings and ends up in the oil pan. So it's not swapping coolant and oil. I don't know. That's kind of leaning towards the thermostat or water pump, or a combination of both. And then you've also got that crack in the filler neck. But anyway, regardless, I think she'll make it through. So I got seed, I got fertilizer. We're gonna get filled up here and get after it. The ground seemed to dry up fairly good. The wet spots are no longer dark, so we'll see what we can do here. You gotta be careful filling this thing, because the lids on the tanks don't have check valves in them, and since it's sitting on a little bit of an incline and that side's low, you overfill this side and then it'll run down to that side and run out of the lid. So you gotta keep this side below that side, otherwise. So yeah. And these are this should take 5 1/4 by the math. So I think we're gonna throw 4 in it and call her good, because there's probably roughly an entire bag left from planting the muck. So I think 4 will get us through. That way I can return the 5th one if I don't need it. All right, we're loaded up, so see what I mean? Accidentally got a little bit in there, and once it found level, boom. Does anybody, I don't know, I don't even know what to call them, where to start looking. Does anybody know if they, because those are Raven tanks. Apparently White bought them from Raven. Does anybody know if they make a replacement for those lids that has check valves so it won't do that? Because it's kind of annoying. So, anyhow. Behave for me, girl. We got like an hour and a half, maybe 2. Yeah. Area 0. All right. Roll. putting some side rows on an L-shaped field, and you get past the leg and you come back out into the foot and forget to put your marker arm down. Whoops. Oop. Wrong lever. Wrong marker. Now I get to see how good I can freehand. This will be interesting. I can do it pretty good with the 540. This is a little wider than the 540. Gets a little wide, but ah well. Now, this field, these three patches that counts as one is done. Now we just got to do the wet hole on the other side of the fence line. She hasn't overheated. She hasn't puked out any more coolant. Oil pressure's fine, so it's not watering down the oil. No funny smells. I think we have a case. I mean, don't know for sure, takes some investigating, but I think we have a case of the thermostat's on the fritz, because the temperature, it tries to come up to work, but then it kind of floats a little bit, and when you let it idle, it goes all the way back down toward the low end to cool, like it's stuck somewhere open. It, I don't know. So I think hopefully it's a thermostat. That would have me tickled pink, but anyhow, let me top off my fertilizer and we'll go plant that last couple acres. there we go. I just planted around that wet spot. Kind of made some point rows in the triangle on that side of it and ran end rows, zigzagged along the edge of it. I was able to stick about 4 rows into it because the wing's wide enough. Don't know if it'll come up, but there's seed there. So, and then I got a bunch of little short rows there in between these end rows and those end rows. And there's kind of a gap. I probably could have overlapped and got like 2 rows, but it wasn't worth it. So, and the tea did a good job. Didn't really have any issues to speak of, aside from the little bit that it puked out on the way here. That little dribble right there is basically the extent, and that could just be stuff running down the side of the radiator off of that crack. So, but never got to smell it. Take that back. Every once in a while you get just a teeny bit. If the wind came at you just right, you'd get just a teeny weeny whiff, but I guarantee it's from that crack venting pressure. And like I say, the whole time it was struggling to come up to temperature. You'd watch the gauge kind of do this, like the thermostat's not moderating right, or it's stuck or something. So hopefully it's the thermostat, because it has no other signs of being a head gasket. But first things first, we got to get that crack taken care of before we can do much more diagnosis, because that's kind of hard to do anything with when you can't pressurize the system. Although it can't be too bad of a crack, because when I checked the antifreeze before I started it to bring it over here, there was a slight bit of pressure still in the system. I mean, it wasn't a lot, but it was basically like opening a pop bottle. You heard a little. So if it's holding pressure, it's not getting oil or coolant anywhere it's not supposed to, I don't see how it could be a head gasket. It's either got to be that water pump having a little bit of wiggle in it, or the thermostat. So fingers crossed it's one of those. But on the flip side, you also don't want it. Well, the water pump needs taken care of anyhow, because that loose bearing can turn into a fan going through a radiator real quick. But you also don't just want to start throwing parts at it willy-nilly, because that gets expensive too. So anyhow, I'm going to get folded up, get this thing back to the barn, and I got to come get my truck in the nurse tank, which is now empty, and there can't be a whole lot left in here. I didn't look, but it had to have been just about out. And then I got to go check on Dad, because I called him because I had to have somebody bring me a partial bag of seed, because I was getting real close to running out. I didn't want to play the game, but I also didn't want to open that brand new bag to plant the last acre. And I guess Dad's over at my uncle's running the finisher, so I'll have to go check on him. But we will start on that front tomorrow. So if he said it might have to be hit twice, I'm guessing probably just the front field, part of the back field, because a lot of the back field got sand in it. But if we got to hit it twice, still shouldn't take all of tomorrow, and then by the end of tomorrow we might be into planting beans. It's going to depend on what the rain does, because as of right now at 8:30 on June 7th, come on, Weather Channel, cloudy skies with a few showers later in the day, chance of rain 40%. And then Sunday's supposed to be beautiful, 76 and full sun, 10 to 20 mile an hour wind. So even if it gets sprinkled on, and then hopefully Monday we can cut hay, that would be ideal. Monday or Tuesday. And I gotta get chemical ordered, because we really need to get spraying. So anyhow, with that being said, that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Thank God corn's in.